starting to rain out and it's really windy. So I'm gonna have to find something to do indoors today. I think what I'm going to do is grab the box blade for the tractor and convert it to the pin style for the quick hitch that I installed on the tractor. So I'll probably just use the forks to grab it and bring it in here, because the quick hitch is already on the tractor and it does not adapt to the box blade the way it is. So let me go grab that. So for those of you who don't know what a quick hitch is, typically a 3-point implement like this, every time you want to take it on and off, you have to get out and take these pins in it. You'll have one there, and one up here. So this is a quick hitch adapter, and what it does is it pins in the same spot that a regular implement would be, but it also has that same pattern, moves it back about 5 inches, and then you permanently install pins like these, and you'll need a set of these for each one of your implements, but it makes it so you can just back right up to it. Those lock in there. And that is not going to work because we're running into the same issue. I thought I did a little better job of planning for this. When I knew I was going to get this quick hitch, I knew, well, at that point, I only had this implement. And I thought I did a better job of measuring, because as you can see, these holes down here look to be about 1 inch. And these, it doesn't say. Let's put a tape on it and have a look. Well, that's really weird. These measure about 1 1/8 inches. And these holes measure 7/8. Check that. So 1 7/16 is obviously this side that locks in here, and that appears to be correct. But we've got this oddball threaded size of 1 1/8-ish. So yesterday, when I was struggling to get the flail mower here going, I thought what we ran into was the PTO drive shaft was too long. We couldn't get it back far enough when the drive shaft was all the way collapsed. So I decided to use that opportunity to put the quick hitch on, thinking that would give me the 4 to 5 inches that I needed of clearance, and I think it will. However, these are going to mount on the far outside now and not use these pins. And I thought to myself, well, I have the ones for the box blade, I'll just use them on that. And they turned out to be not correct. So then I decided I did a pretty good job of measuring and ordering these. I'll go ahead and put them on that. Well, apparently I did not. And apparently, yes, 7/8 again. So most all these 3-point implements are going to be pretty standard. I don't know what this is or what it's used for, but it is incorrect. So, it doesn't look like we're gonna be able to do that today. I will get to the bottom of it and finish this video at a later date.
3 days later.
So it's a few days later, and after a lot of parts and pieces and checking things out and seeing what might work, I think I've landed on a solution. These are quick hitch adapter bushings, and to the best of my knowledge, they are supposed to go on the outside like that. Your quick hitch adapter hooks in there. It's got this bigger outside collar to make it so it doesn't slide off. But we can't use that necessarily for this because the spread on these ears is not adjustable, and it just so happens they fit right in the middle of both these plates. So we're going to utilize that. They do make a quite a bit simpler idea, and what you're supposed to do for this application, I believe, is bushing like this with your standard pin, put it in there, and there you go. But as you can see, or maybe you can't see, as you can see there, that would move around. The problem with that thought is this isn't much bigger than the actual hitch ear itself. So you'd have to pretty much get exactly set on that bushing every time, and then hope it doesn't slide around that direction and fall maybe over here or something like that. I suppose a guy could get a couple of them and maybe weld them together, but 2 of them don't fit in here to take up this whole area. So I think what I'm going to do, it might be a little bit more expensive. Obviously these are $2 or $3. And this, as you can tell, was $15. But I think what I'm gonna do is measure this. Obviously that doesn't fit in there. I think I'm gonna measure this and cut this down so it fits in there. I also think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the small side so we leave the bigger diameter in there to more or less make more or less space for the ear of the hitch to slide around. So let's do it. Looks like right at 3 inches. So let's go cut this. Here's our bushings. We're gonna cut them down to about 3 inches. Well, this is pretty thick metal. I'm gonna use this Milwaukee bandsaw. Not always the easiest to keep straight, but we're gonna do our best. All right, we got these cut. Let's see how they fit. Looks like they fit pretty good. Same thing on this side. And that side fits really good too. As you can see, There is the ear of the 3-point, and it's gonna go right in that groove in the center of it, just about perfect. We left that big diameter on there, that way it's got less room to wiggle around. And this one, just about perfect as well. There's the ear of the 3-point, quick hitch. Well, it looks like we've got the bottom figured out. Now, the top doesn't have a pin, it has a hook. And this hook, pretty much infinitely adjustable. So, we've got to figure out what the distance is from here to either one of these and where that puts the hook as far as which hole to put it in. If you took a piece of straight bar of some sort, yeah, that'll work out just about perfect. What we need to figure out is the distance between this pin and that pin. So what we're going to do is go from the center of this pin about 19 inches. Looks like we're about 4 there. I think we're going to move. I have a mower that's a little bit closer in spread. I'm going to try to make it work on both implements so I don't have to adjust this, because this is going to be a pain. So I'd like to get close enough that I can do both, and it's closer to 18. So if we move this bolt to that hole, that makes this spread center to center 18 inches. So let's do that. Now we've got that moved. What we need to do is set the height for this hook where the bottom of the saddle is. Let's just double check. 19 minus, that was 1 inch, so it was 18. So what we need to do is make sure that the distance from here to the bottom of that is 18 inches. How we're going to do that is about 12 1/4. So we're going to go for 30 1/4 from the floor. Well, that's just about perfect. 30 1/4, which is going to be 18 inches total from here to there, is the top 2 holes. Let's get the bolts, get that mounted, and see if we were successful. It appears we were successful. That is exactly where we wanted these to ride, in the smaller diameter part of the pin, and the top looks really good. Let's have a view from the side. Probably can't tell from the camera angle, but it does look like it's sitting a little low on the back. So I think we're going to adjust that top length just a little bit. That is exactly what we're going for. There we have it. We got the quick hitch attachment on, and we have this implement in a position where all the pins and everything are permanent and match that really well. So in theory, we should be able to do with this quick hitch and this attachment exactly as designed, which is not really have to get out of the cab much, except for to release and lock those in. Now that we've got this one set up the way we want it to match the quick hitch, we'll move on to the flail mower in the next video. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching, folks. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and drop a comment below.